If you knew what I know now, you would never give money to a beggar again. My name is Amara, and I used to be the most generous person in our village. Everyone knew me as the young trader who never said no to anyone asking for help. My pockets were always empty because I gave away everything I earned. But that was before I discovered the terrible truths about the old beggar who sat by the market entrance every day. That was before I learned that some beggars are not human at all. That was before I watched my own life being stolen from me, coin by coin, note by note. You believe that helping others is always good, then you need to hear my story. Because what happened to me could happen to you. The beggar you gave money to yesterday might not be what you think he is. He might be something far more dangerous than you could ever imagine. This is my warning to you. You must pray and learn before you give your hard-earned money to any stranger on the street. My grandmother always said I had a heart too big for my body. Amara, she would tell me, one day your kindness will be your destruction. I never listened to her warnings. I thought she was just an old woman who had forgotten how to trust people. Every morning, I would walk to the market with my goods to sell. Every evening, I would return home with empty pockets because I had given away my profits to anyone who asked. There was the woman with the sick baby, the old man with no family, the young boy whose parents had died. I helped them all. My business was growing well. I sold the best vegetables in the market, and people came from far places to buy from me. But no matter how much money I made, I always ended each day with nothing. My friends thought I was foolish. Amara, you will never become rich if you keep giving everything away, they said. But I was happy. I felt good inside when I helped others. I believed that God would bless me for my generous heart. I never thought that my kindness could be used against me. It was on a Tuesday morning when I first saw him. The old beggar was sitting by the market entrance, his back bent with age, his clothes torn and dirty. His hair was white as cotton, and his skin was dark and wrinkled like old leather. He held a small metal cup in his hands, and his eyes looked so sad that they made my heart ache. Please, young lady, he said to me in a weak voice, I have not eaten for 3 days. Can you help an old man who has nothing left in this world? I stopped immediately. How could I walk past someone who was suffering? I reached into my pocket and pulled out some money. It was not much, but it was all I had for lunch that day. I dropped the coins into his cup and smiled at him. God bless you, my daughter, the old man said. May you live long and prosper. I felt warm inside as I walked away. I had done a good thing. I had helped someone who needed help, but I did not know that I had just made the biggest mistake of my life. I did not know that the old beggar was already planning how to use my money for something terrible. Every day after that, the old beggar was there. He would sit in the same spot by the market entrance, holding his cup and asking for help. And every day I would give him some money. It became like a routine for me. I would greet him, drop some coins in his cup, and he would bless me. After 2 weeks, I noticed something strange. The old beggar never seemed to get better. He still wore the same torn clothes. He still looked hungry and sad. He still said he had not eaten for days. But somehow, he looked exactly the same as the first day I met him. Other people gave him money too. I saw them dropping coins and notes into his cup throughout the day. The beggar must have been collecting a lot of money, but he never looked like he was eating better or buying new clothes. Maybe he spends all the money on medicine, I thought to myself. Maybe he is sick and needs to buy drugs to stay alive. I felt sorry for him, so I started giving him more money. Sometimes I would give him half of what I earned that day. My friends thought I was going crazy, but I could not stop helping the poor old man. 3 weeks after I started helping the old beggar, I began to have strange dreams. In these dreams, I would see myself as an old man, bent and weak, sitting by the roadside asking for help. People would walk past me without looking, and I would feel so hungry and lonely that I wanted to cry. But the strangest part of the dreams was that I always looked exactly like the old beggar. I had his white hair, his wrinkled skin, and his sad eyes. In the dreams, I would hold the same metal cup and say the same words. Please, I have not eaten for 3 days. I would wake up feeling tired and weak, as if I had not slept at all. My body felt heavy, and my bones ached like an old man's bones. I thought maybe I was working too hard, so I tried to rest more. But the dreams kept coming every night, and each morning I felt worse than the day before. My grandmother noticed that I was looking pale and thin. Amara, you look like you are aging too fast, she said. What is happening to you? I did not know what to tell her. How could I explain that I was dreaming of being an old beggar every night? My grandmother was a wise woman who knew many things about the spiritual world. She had lived for over 80 years and had seen things that most people could not understand. When she looked at me with her sharp eyes, I felt like she could see into my soul. Amara, she said one evening, you must tell me the truth. Have you been giving money to strangers? I was surprised by her question. Yes, grandmother. There is an old beggar by the market. I give him money every day because he looks so poor and hungry. My grandmother's face became very serious. She grabbed my hand and held it tight. My child, you must stop giving him money immediately. Not all beggars are what they seem to be. But grandmother, he is just a poor old man who needs help. Listen to me carefully, she said. There are evil spirits in this world who disguise themselves as beggars. They use the money people give them to steal life from those who are kind. They feed on the goodness of generous hearts like yours. I laughed. Grandmother, those are just old stories. The beggar is a real person, not a spirit. But my grandmother did not smile. If you do not stop helping him, he will steal all your years and leave you an empty shell. Promise me you will stay away from him. I promised her, but I did not mean it. I thought she was just worried about nothing. The next evening, I decided to find out the truth about the old beggar. I wanted to prove to my grandmother that he was just a normal person who needed help. So I hid behind a building near the market and waited to see what he would do when everyone went home. As the sun set and the market became quiet, I watched the old beggar carefully. He looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then he stood up from his spot. But something was wrong. When he stood up, his bent back became straight. When he walked, his weak legs became strong. I could not believe what I was seeing. The old beggar was not old at all. He moved like a young man, quick and powerful. He picked up his cup, which was now full of money, and walked to a dark corner behind the market. My heart was beating fast as I followed him quietly. What I saw next made my blood turn cold. The beggar sat on the ground and poured all the money from his cup into a circle around himself. Then he began to speak in a strange language that I had never heard before. As he spoke, the money began to glow with a soft, evil light, and the beggar began to change. His white hair became black, his wrinkled skin became smooth, his bent body became young and strong. I realized with horror that my grandmother had been right. This was no ordinary beggar. I watched in terror as the beggar continued his evil ritual. He picked up each coin and each note, holding them close to his chest and whispering strange words. With every coin he touched, he seemed to become younger and stronger. The money was glowing brighter now, and I could see something like smoke rising from it. Then I understood what was happening. The smoke was not ordinary smoke. It was the life force of everyone who had given money to the beggar. It was our years, our health, our vitality being stolen and given to this evil creature. I thought about all the money I had given him over the past weeks. I thought about how tired and old I had been feeling. I thought about the dreams where I looked like an old beggar myself. Now I knew why. This monster had been stealing my life, bit by bit, coin by coin. The beggar suddenly looked up and stared directly at me. His eyes were no longer sad and tired. They were bright red and full of evil. He smiled, showing teeth that were sharp like a wild animal's claw. Thank you, Amara, he said in a voice that was no longer weak and old. You have been so generous. You have given me so much of your life. I wanted to run, but my legs felt weak. I wanted to scream, but my voice was gone. The evil beggar stood up and walked toward me, still holding the glowing money in his hands. Did you enjoy our little game? The creature asked, moving closer to me. Every day you gave me your money, thinking you were helping a poor old man, but you were really giving me your years, your strength, your life itself. I finally found the strength to move. I turned and ran as fast as I could, but I felt like I was running through deep water. My body was heavy and slow, like an old man's body. Behind me, I could hear the creature laughing. "You cannot escape what you have already given me," he called out. "I have taken so much of your life already. Look at yourself, Amara. Look how old you have become." I ran until I reached my home, gasping for breath. I went straight to the mirror and screamed at what I saw. My face was older, with new lines around my eyes. My hair had streaks of grey that were not there before. My hands looked like the hands of a woman twice my age. I fell to my knees and cried. How could I have been so foolish? My grandmother had tried to warn me, but I did not listen. Now, I had lost years of my life to an evil spirit who had tricked me with his disguise. I knew I had to warn others. I had to tell everyone about the danger of giving money to beggars without knowing who they really were. But who would believe such a story? Who would believe that a beggar could steal your life through your kindness? The next morning, I went to the market, but the old beggar was gone. His spot by the entrance was empty. I asked other traders if they had seen him, but no one knew where he went. Some people said he had probably moved to another town to continue his begging. But I knew better. I knew he had probably collected enough life force to last him for many years. He would go to another place, take on the disguise of a poor beggar again, and start stealing from new victims. I went to my grandmother and told her everything. She was not surprised. "This is why our ancestors warned us to be careful about who we help," she said. "True charity should be given through proper ways, not to strangers on the street." I began to feel a little better over the next few weeks. My hair stopped turning grey, and some of the lines on my face became lighter. But I knew I would never get back all the years that had been stolen from me. Now I help people in different ways. I give food to the hungry, not money. I donate to churches and community groups that I know are real. I help my neighbors and family members who I can trust. And I tell everyone my story. I warn them about the danger of giving money to beggars they do not know. Because if you knew what I know now, if you had seen what I have seen, you would never give your hard-earned money to a stranger again. Remember, not all who ask for help are what they seem to be. Some are evil spirits who feed on human kindness. Watch carefully. Be wise. And never forget that your generosity could be used to steal your very life.